Welcome back to the channel, guys. Some of you watched my yesterday's video where we tried to kill Jorgen without using any purples, and we failed, which was basically just footage from a stream that we had done the day before. To not waste my second archives key, I decided to take what blue Pathfinder sets I had left and purple Nord shield back and kill Jorgen just to get a helmet. My only purpose in doing so was to get the helmet to try and make up for all of the value that I lost in trying to complete my goal, which means tonight's video has nothing towards my goal. My goal is still exactly the same with my beef with Jorgen. I'm gonna kill him level 1 class, no purple items. I 100% think I'm gonna do it next time, unless some freak event happens like lag. But in this video tonight, I just want to go through and give you guys tips so far on what I've learned on how to defeat Jorgen. A lot of people, debate over what classes to use. I completely understand that a lot of people use Assassin, and I mean that probably is the best class, but I want to get into something that people underestimate about the Druid and why he's so important versus the Jorgen for a noob like me who doesn't own much stuff, and I don't own a repair table. So when you're using the Druid, if you look at my attack speed, it's 0.91 with a Raider's shield. If I was using like Protector class or any class and I was using the shield, when he does his big ring, if I don't get out of that ring immediately when he does it, I will be too slow and I will get killed. And the reason behind that is it takes time to do the animation of a swing. So if the big red ring pops up and then you happen to click attack one more time after it pops up, you're stuck doing that slow attack animation that takes 0.91 before you're free to then escape the circle, which therefore makes your response time have to be so much more accurate, which is why everyone likes to use daggers, because you have a way faster attack speed, which means your animation is so much faster, which means even if you're slow and he does the big red circle and you accidentally click attack, the faster your weapon is, the more forgiving it is, to where you can run away after making that mistake. So if you notice, 0.91 when I turn into a bear is 1.33, which gives me the same attack speed as like a cutter, which therefore allows my shield to no longer stick me in the animation. The Druid's claw animation is just as fast as a cutter, and we're able to hit him and get out. And then the main reason why you use Druid, if you're a noob like me, is you're trying to make more out of less. Druid gives you an armor boost, so as long as you wear medium armor and you then go in Druid mode, you're getting a huge boost, which is basically like turning a blue set of armor into a purple set of armor if comparing yourself to an assassin. If comparing yourself to another Druid, the Druid with purple armor is going to have more, of course, but that's the main tips on how I ended up with the Druid class. So without ruining any more of the video, let's jump into the fight. Alright, so this is the inventory that I ended up going with. The purples at the bottom right were just extra in case I ran out of armor. I didn't want to make the mistake of running out of armor like I did when trying to complete my goal in round 2. I still didn't want to bring weapon switches like piercing dagger or even use the throwing darts just yet, because I'm still mastering his moves. And if you notice here in the beginning, I'm not aggressively attacking him. There's a reason for that. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get all 3 of his special moves as close to the same time as possible, because the closer all 3 special moves are together, the bigger my window becomes on where I can just straight attack him or get into my inventory. So when leaving the big ring, how you can start to change the timing on his moves is, out of the 3 specials that he does, only the arrow can be shot if you stay far enough away. So after he does the big ring, if you don't go in close, you change the time on when he'll do his little ring and when he'll do his next big ring again. So what you then do is you basically just feel it out, try to get them closer, and I started to see that every time they were getting closer because it takes me a little bit of time to get back in close to him after he does the big circle. And now we're basically aggressively in the fight now because I believe that the moves are close enough together. If you notice, when you run out of the big circle right here, what you want to do after you have all three of his moves close together, which I still don't have them all close as I'd like them, but they're close enough to fight him, is you want to get in close to him as soon as possible from the big ring. So he does the big ring, as soon as it explodes, hurry up and get next to him. The reason is so that way you don't lose the time that you like. Meaning once you got it the way you liked, you want to get back in as quick as possible. Once he shoots all three of those specials off, you've got plenty of time. You got like 30 seconds to just straight attack him. You could go in your inventory. Now currently I'm not skilled enough yet to where I would just hit auto and then go into my inventory, because you can change armors and weapons and bandages and all that stuff while in auto mode. The only thing you couldn't do is eat or use a bandage. So the next time I will be able to more utilize when trying to complete my round 3 goal, my beef with this guy, beating him without using purples. The Nord shield made it super easy. It's exactly what I had tried to explain to people in my stream, which is basically like, look guys, if you see there, look how close they were. The arrow and the little circle are happening at the exact same time. That's when you know you want to get in after the big circle as soon as possible, so that you can keep those two moves like that, because the closer they are together, the longer you get uninterrupted to battle him or go into your inventory. And like I mentioned earlier in this video, the attack speed is allowing you so much forgiving time on getting out of the way of that big ring once he casts it. The only thing you want to do is be mindful of how close you are to a wall, because it won't care if you decide to run backwards and there's a wall in the way. You will have to run like an L shape and you might not get out of the circle. So usually look and see what's your longest runway, and then you can just put yourself in that runway before you go ham on attacking him. I looked into green armor, and I think as long as we can get this guy to deal 10 or less with green armor on, I think bringing body bags, dying on purpose, and then putting green armor sets on those dead body bags might actually allow me to beat this guy way cheaper once my player skill gets up. So that's definitely going to be a goal in the future after we complete our first goal. First goal is to beat this guy without using purples. In the video, we're cheating. We're using a Nord shield. It's the only purple that we actually use in the fight, but it's dramatically different. It's giving, 20 extra armor. It's giving 5 damage being removed. It's definitely a huge boost compared to using blues, but I think blues, he'll be just as easy now that I've got the moves down. I have the moves down better than anyone I've seen anyway. In the videos that I've seen on YouTube, I haven't seen anyone who actually explains or understands that you can set the time, you can sync his moves so that they're all next to each other, so that way you got all this time to make the fight so much easier. I think once people watch this video and they realize what I'm talking about, a lot more people will be able to destroy this guy solo who thought he used to be hard. And it's just because they're like, oh, well, once I get all of his moves to where he does them all at the same time, I got like what feels like a minute to do whatever I want while the guy shoots me with his pea shooter. Like, it's not like he's doing a tremendous amount of damage. And another extreme bonus to the Druid for low levels or for people who don't have a lot of points invested is, for 2k points, getting 260 HP is pretty insane. I feel like this is really the only place I use Druid. I don't use Druid for anything else, but it seems really clutch for basically, I call it welfare, this welfare boss fight. I think if I am correct, I think I have the potential to smash this guy out with green armors and a Nord shield. That will be the next goal after we beat him with no purples. Is going to be to beat him for as cheap as possible so that we can make a video that's like, look, you can actually solo Jorgen and profit. Meaning, if you're only using the durability on 2.5 Nord shields, or yeah, 2.5 Nord shields because you use piercing dagger or you use a weakening dart. If you're only using 2 Nord shields durability and you're bringing them home to where they can be repaired or you can trade them to somebody for full durability, then you're really only losing what, 6 green sets of armor and 1 Nord shield to get a Tretch helm. That's I mean, that's arguably profitable. Like, I'm sure a lot of people would rather have treacherous helm and some green sets laying around. Almost all people turn the green sets into points. So I definitely think I have potential to get some more content here in Jorgen and the archives. This has nothing to do with clearing the mobs in the archives, but the last clearing of the mobs was like 5 times better than my first time clearing the mobs. We didn't die at all. I think I can do the mobs really easy with just a couple of green sword and shields, a fire axe, and some potions, and some bandages, and some food, and no purples. Like, and level 1 classes, I think it can be done. This is extremely easy. Honestly, I think it can be done in an hour also. Like, but in this fight, there was a lot of things that I could have brought or done extra, like use the crows, and I just start using them now, and I mean, they do make a difference. Like, you take a lot less damage with the crows, but it only lasts 4 seconds, so it seemed kind of like irrelevant, but I should have been using it just to practice, because by this point in the fight, I felt like, man, this is too easy. Like, what was I thinking? Like, Jorgen is cake. Like, this guy is super easy. Like, solo. Like, oh my goodness. Like, I don't know why I was freaking out. You get all day in your inventory. You get all day to attack him. Like, I'm not using my bandages on cooldown all the time this fight, but because I felt comfortable not having to. I felt like with the Nord shield that, like, I was just indestructible versus this guy. But it's probably better and, you know, way more logical to keep your HP as high as possible. In other games I call it safing. And the reason for that is if something crazy happens and you do get hit by his big ring, you won't actually die in 1 hit if you have 200, and I think it does like 200 damage. So yeah, like, if your HP's high enough, you won't actually die in 1 hit. I am contemplating whether or not bringing a poison bow or fire bow could reduce the cost to kill this guy. Like, I'm thinking maybe, you know, having weakening darts and then having a poison bow, and then switching to the sword and shield. The Nords, when your HP gets low, might be more profitable. I don't know, so I'm definitely open to interpretation on how we make this fight cheaper, because currently it's super easy, but it's not super cheap. And, like, even when I go in to complete my goal and we use 5 Pathfinder sets, 5 Raiders axes, which, I mean, I can probably reduce it to 4 now that I'm more skilled, and I'll be able to bring weakening darts and 20% increase the fight. I think 4 sets will be enough. So hypothetically, say it takes 4 Raiders axes and 4 Pathfinder sets. That's still too much. That's still more than a Tretch helm costs in leather strips, meaning if you're trading leather strips to get those blue sets and the blue weapon, you're going to spend the same that you would spend on a Tretch helm. You might as well just sell your archives team and trade for a Tretch helm, and you make more profits. So really, one of the goals as a solo free-to-play player is going to be to map out a way to make it worth it. There has to be a way to make it worth it, meaning, hey, I only spent, you know, 100 leather strips, or, yeah, like 150 leather strips to clear the archives and kill Jorgen. And if I can accomplish that, I think I will have contributed to the FROSTBORN community. Currently, I search YouTube and try to find videos of people soloing this guy, and they all do it fairly easily, but they also do it fairly expensive. And I've never, like I said, I never heard anyone ever break down, like, that you can sync this guy's moves together, that attack speed actually matters on getting out of the way with the animation speeds, being able to, like, hit him after the fact and run away. And at the very end of this fight, you'll see, because I didn't know that he could still do his move after he was dead. And we paused for, like, a long brain fart before we decided to run out. And it's pretty forgiving on the edge, meaning if you aren't all the way out, but you are super close, it usually considers you out of the circle and it doesn't, like, actually hit you. So I think it's very forgiving. And again, for, like, the 20th time, I just like to stress that I think this fight is super easy. I just think that it takes some practice, it takes knowledge. Knowledge is what made this fight super easy, and of course the purple weapon. So when trying to share this, don't consider this a tips video completely or a guide. Once I complete my goal, I will then work on an in-depth guide where I talk while beating him. And that's the loot. It's my first helm. I don't consider my beef with this guy over. So those of you who watch my channel, you have to stay tuned to see where it goes. Later.